This is Beyond Mind's Exosphere, also known as BM Exosphere, and this is a mod pack that has insane world generation. It is by far one of the craziest world generation that you will see in a mod pack, or at the very least used very well within a mod pack. This entire world generation stems from the idea of like an amplified world with no set ground. There is just straight void. You can do things like swing from area to area using grappling hooks. You can do things like make a ton of machinery and such and explore this entire cool area. There are a couple of dimensions, and for the most part, I mean, they're just really amazing things to do within this mod pack. Before we check it out though, make sure to subscribe, of course, and I do have a lot of good content on this channel along with more mod pack reviews, therefore you should subscribe. Let's get right into this. Starting off with the main menu. Out of all of the main menus that I've seen, this is honestly one of the better ones because of how simple the design is. It's such a very interesting design because the buttons themselves are like custom design and like have a unique look to it. There's even a BM hub map. I love the way that this looks because of like it's such a subtle way of showcasing like all of your work, showcasing your media and such, and it is a very nice looking menu overall. Nothing too like in your face. Let's just get right into like the general world creation. Everything that I've said, you might notice in the background how crazy the world is. This is what you would expect to see within this. So the first thing I notice is that you're in a sky village, and a sky village has a lot of loot. This is because there are a lot of mods that gives a lot of loot to the chest. Of course, if you're unlucky, you might get some crap loot, but let's just say most of the time, you're probably gonna get some really cool loot from these villages. An example of some loot is the EnderIO gears along with simple farming soups and like just general food stuff. And you might notice there's a little bit of like a weird GUI thing going on. Yeah, I actually don't know how to feel about that per se, but it is a very interesting touch to this entire mod pack. The most ideal things that you'll find are things like this, such as the gold gray hammer here. You're going to find a lot of cool weapons and such that might be proven useful to you in the future in this village. And this is really helpful for starting out early. And speaking of starting out early, what you start out with in this mod pack is the following items: the wooden shield, wooden paxel, the grappling hook, and quest book. The grappling hook is also enchanted with soulbound. If no matter how many times you die, the grappling hook, as long as it's in your inventory, will stay soulbound. This is important for later. Now, you might be wondering, why do you start off in a sky village rather than a normal village? That is because the world below is broken up. Now, this is actually the most tame I've ever seen it actually be. However, if you go down here, yeah, this is what it's normally looking like. A broken up mess of chunks, but a beautiful broken up mess of chunks, as it looks absolutely stunning, especially with shaders, and it looks amazing. The lush caves with their golden berries looks very cool, and you also have areas such as this, the deep dark, very atmospheric environment, and a completely unique Minecraft experience. And a couple things to note, of course, with this entire terrain generation is there's a couple of things that I would like to point out regarding the movement system. So the reason why the grappling hook is such an effective item to get is basically you can kind of like throw this at certain areas. So for example, let's say I was going to go from this ledge here to over there. You attach it there, and you swing like Indiana Jones. Do bear in mind that because of how, you know, it's using almost like some sort of physics mechanic, if it gets caught on blocks, you kind of swing off of that block. And if it gets caught on like certain areas or anything like that, you know, just be very aware of your surroundings. You kind of saw it there, how the rope got slightly caught onto the stone block when I was swinging. So basically it will just get, you know, caught as if it was having some sort of physics, like the rope itself had some physics along with obviously your actual character. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the shaders that comes with this mod pack are the complimentary reimagined and unbound. And the complimentary reimagined is the one that I have. You can tell because the clouds have this kind of like, you know, puffy look to it, puffy block look to it. while the Unbound would have more of a regular cloud design. But yeah, overall, things like the grappling hook will come very handy in order to even get down from the sky. So one way that you can immediately jump from up top here all the way down to the ground is if I go to, like, let's say from up there. If you go all the way up to the very top, okay, and then you jump all the way down and then grapple, you can land on the side here. And also, if you fall on top of leaves and certain softer blocks, you can actually take less fall damage, which is a very handy thing to have within a mod like this, or sorry, mod pack like this, because obviously you're going to be falling down a lot. And there's one mod that you need to keep in mind when moving. That is the parkour mod, or parkour mod, or whatever it's called. Basically, there's a mod for parkour, and it allows for interesting movements. Be very careful because you can do things such as vault jumping, side jumping like that. And that actually got me killed a few times when I was doing this in a test. So I'm just letting you know from experience that is don't do that. Immediately, as you can tell, there's also like a couple of cool mods, structures, and all that stuff, such as this one right over here. There are some structures that don't have much inside of it. This one doesn't really have too much inside of it. But then there's also these Towers of the Wild. These have waystones on top of them, along with the Sky Village. To make sure to go activate the Sky Village 1 to get back to the Sky Village directly from here. And they also come with a nice chest. And these chests can come with a variety of different things, such as a simple sword. And these simple swords can come with a variety of abilities. So do make sure to check out the chest on top of those towers. There are some overhauled structures along with a bunch of new structures to this mod pack. However, there aren't structure mods such as repurposed structures, which adds in a lot of different structures here and there, along with the young structures. They're more like add-ons that aren't really that, game changing. So like, for example, when Dungeons Arise, which is a massive dungeon mod, is not in here, it's more like structures that add immersiveness to the environments rather than adding in crazy dungeons that you would have to explore in order to get fancy loot and stuff. This mod pack is definitely made for a more chill experience, but also a very adventurous experience rather than being a direct dungeon hunter, dungeon quest kind of like mod pack, I suppose. Alright, it's time to take a look at some of the quests. Welcome to Exosphere. It will give you a bunch of the, like, for example, the movement system and a bunch of like the tutorial stuff. So it kind of gives you like a good indication as to like what to do first and what to expect within the mod pack, along with like general quests that you would do in order to get started. There's also some choice reward options. For example, there's the choice reward here. I'm gonna get the 8 scones. As you can see here, the quests aren't even that crazy either. However, you can kind of get the general sense of what to do within this mod pack just by looking at the quest system. There are general like supplementary stuff such as like making the chairs, the stools and such. And then there's the simple swords. You have to get the simple sword stuff and proper defense, and then make the paxils. On this side, it's find the generic Minecraft structures and biomes such as ice spikes, a swamp, a desert, a jungle, along with finding the structures that you can find within those specific biomes. And there is a dimension in this. The Twilight Forest is one of the dimensions that you'll find in here. I know a lot of people really dislike this because a lot of people don't like the fact that Twilight Forest is in every single mod pack, but you get the idea. The Twilight Forest is a part of this. The Deeper and Darker mod is also in here. So as you can see here, this is the Warden-like dimension, and basically there's a bunch of different stuff that you need to do along this quest line. And then obviously the end. There's a couple of new things in the end, but for the most part, it's relatively the exact same. The Nether is also very, very similar. And of course, there's a bunch of different like side quests here. There's a Zombie Slayer, Creeper Buster, Enderman Farmer, etc, etc, etc. You can even make a gun. And there's also mimics within this. If you also submit a legendary weapon, you can get the Glass Sword, which is an unbreakable glass sword that does 40 attack damage, so it's a very, very overpowered weapon. This is basically the end game quest in this section. And of course, there's a lot of like different mechanisms and contraptions that you can get within this mod pack. You have a bunch of the industrial foregoing stuff here, draconic evolution on this side. You have a bunch of the power mods here, flux network stuff on this side, EnderIO stuff over in this region. Basically, you can just like see a lot of different items in here. And the end game quest within this section is to slay the Chaos Guardian. And essentially that's really it. There's also a bunch of like misc stuff. So if you can get a bunch of this stuff and find artifacts, find a bunch of mending books, get a slime set, get a mob imprisonment tool, bunch of different items here. Then you get the super secret community quest master, which you actually get a wyvern's core for this. So doing a bunch of this random stuff might be worth it. And with that, that's basically it for this entire mod pack. The mod pack itself is a very, very simple design, yet it feels like this crazy new thing because of the terrain generation and the challenges that come with navigating this entire world. And that in itself, with the mods that are in this mod pack, is enough incentive for anyone to want to play this mod pack. Just because of how cool it would be to make houses, make bases in this entire area, and just to really adventure this entire world. That is like the really interesting part about this entire mod pack. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I stopped doing these showcase videos for a little bit. I'll probably do a couple more in the future. And I hope you guys stay subscribed and view some of the content I have on my channel. I have many other mod reviews along with many other different things such as other video games, or just Minecraft gameplay in general. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, and goodbye.